A few months ago, Apex Gaming PCs reached out to do a sponsored review on this channel. I turned that down and just asked for a 5090 Prebuilt to do a real review. They said they would, but unfortunately what they sent me was a custom build with several parts not even available on their site. And when I researched them further, I'm gonna be honest, my scam radar went off. So because of all the red flags that I found with Apex Gaming PCs, I decided to completely toss all the work that I did for that beautiful 5090 custom PC. I had to see if things were better from the customer's perspective. I went undercover and spent nearly $2,000 of my own money to buy their Apex 5060 ready to ship PC directly from their website. I wanted to confirm if they were still demonstrating shady practices in 2026. But after checking out the PC, catching them with a fake Better Business Bureau badge, and getting into a heated undercover email exchange with their management, what I found wasn't a blatant scam, it was a highly sophisticated pricing trap. The pre-built PC market is a minefield of what I call the ignorant tax right now. So if you're shopping for a PC this year, do not spend a single dime until you watch this video. I'm gonna show you exactly how this trap works, and to make sure that you don't get ripped off, I've put together my official 2026 safe list. The exact PCs that I recommend for every budget. I've tagged them directly on this video and in the comments and description below. Years ago, Apex was notorious for taking several months just to ship a PC. Today, their website boldly claims ships within 2 days, but no later than 4. That's a stretch. It took 9 days just to arrive at my door in Texas. This company is also in Texas. But honestly, 9 days is a massive improvement from the horror stories of their past. Got a box within a box. Digging in and unboxing, it did feel like I was opening something special. Included with it in the box, they do give you plenty of manuals and extra cables, which is a plus. To be completely fair to Apex, they delivered a clean working PC. But the second you look past design and check out the actual components they charged nearly $1,700 for, the trap snaps shut. Alright, so diving inside into the internals, the first mystery is the RAM. The manufacturer info is actually completely covered up, almost like they're intentionally hiding where they sourced it. I also have no clue why they would waste money on an AIO liquid cooler for such a low power 5600X CPU. The main drive that they put in here is pretty decent though. A 2TB silicone power NVMe SSD. Currently sitting at about $270 on Amazon right now, and when we tested it, we got pretty decent speeds for a lower tier PC. The GPU, a pretty light, okay Zotac Gaming 5060. Pretty much exactly what I expected with this PC. Don't be misled with what looks like a Founders Edition 5090 in that hilariously misleading product image. Digging even deeper, I found that the power supply is an 80 plus bronze power supply. So not great quality there either. I'm also really bummed that there are 0 USB-C ports on this PC. Alright, let's talk thermals, because this is where Apex pricing really starts to sound like a joke. In our thermal imaging time-lapse from computer off to full-on gaming, you can see the heat building up right next to the GPU, and popping off the glass gives us a clear look at the hotspots. At 1080p, the CPU temps look great. In fact, looking at the charts, you can see that it's the coolest CPU that we've tested, but that actually proves how utterly pointless this expensive CPU liquid cooler is. Just look at the AVG PC Max right next to it. It uses a standard, much cheaper air cooler, and the Apex is only 0.2 degrees cooler. But when we pushed it to 4K gaming, the story flipped. We're focusing on the GPU temperatures here because high resolution gaming puts a lot more pressure on the GPU and eases up on the CPU. And looking at the charts, you can see that this was the hottest 5060 GPU that we've seen yet. But now for one of the most important parts, performance. Let's see what $1,700 actually buys you. These were our average and 1% low FPS numbers across several games at 1080p, 1440p, and 4K on the highest presets. And if we average all those games together and look at the charts, yes, it did do slightly higher numbers than the similar spec AVG PC Max at 1080p and 1440p. But here's the absolute kicker. Look at this list. Every single PC from the Skytech Shadow down is significantly cheaper than this Apex build. Okay, so performance to the side, let's get into the serious stuff. 2 years ago, tech YouTuber Braythorn exposed Apex for using fake AI images and having horrific shipping delays. I wanted to see if they've cleaned up their act for 2026. Spoiler alert, they didn't. They just got sneakier. Let's talk about the return policy that they boldly plastered on their checkout page. 30-day hassle-free return policy. No hoops to jump through. I, in fact, had to jump through some hoops. Using my secret shopper alias, I requested a refund. Let's take a look at the receipts. First, a support rep. Let's call him Denial Dan. He rejected the return entirely simply because the PC had been turned on. After I sent them a screenshot of their own hassle-free return policy, another rep, which we'll call Restocking Rick, he stepped in. He told me that yes, you can return it, but it's going to cost you a 25% restocking fee. Oh, and one minor detail. Restocking Rick also told me that they were keeping the Texas state sales tax. Keeping state sales tax on a returned item isn't just bad policy, it's highly illegal. So I emailed them back and called out the law. Suddenly a manager, let's introduce Backpedal Bill, he stepped in. He admitted to that minor oopsie and said that they would refund the tax and drop the restocking fee to 12.5%. He then removed the sales tax policy from their website. No telling how many customers wrongfully did not get that money back since July of 2025, nearly 8 months. They have at the very least changed their restocking fees 10 times in the past couple of years, getting worse and worse over time. And now they don't even allow returns at all unless something is broken or not working properly. And even then you have to notify them within 72 hours of delivery. So good luck if you're gifting this to someone who's not going to open it within 3 days. But that's just their return policy. Here's the actual twist, the BBB trap. As of April 2026, Apex had a 500-word article on their site bragging about earning an official A+ Better Business Bureau accreditation. It's one of the first things to pop up when people search Apex Gaming BBB. You go into the actual BBB and you can see that they are not accredited and have a D- rating. So I used another alias to email support and ask about it. Denial Dan was back. He claimed that they are accredited because, quote, that is what we have been told and shown. So either he's lying or management is lying to their own customer service reps. So I called the actual BBB. They confirmed that Apex has never been accredited and told me that they were lying. Within hours of the actual BBB getting involved, manager Backpedal Bill frantically emailed me back. He claimed that they were accredited in October 2025, but he said that they requested a reversal of their BBB accreditation due to an internal BBB error, and he immediately deleted the article from their website. An A+ rating for a company with a history of unanswered complaints on their BBB profile, that doesn't happen. And the second they got caught by the BBB, they scrambled to burn the evidence. Apex is not having a good month, and it's their own fault. In other recent news, on April 16th, recall on almost 18,000 Apex power supplies. Years worth of power supplies without mandatory safety warning labels. But aside from all of those concerning red flags that make me not trust this company one bit, even if it were trustworthy, these PCs are way overpriced. Their 5060 RTS with only a 5600X and 5060 is currently at $1,665 after shipping, which almost none of the others charge you for, by the way. This picture is also incredibly misleading, using a Founders Edition 5080 or 5090 in the image. The actual GPU is going to look much more puny than that. For the same performance, I actually recommend this AVG PC Max with the same CPU and GPU for $600 less. It also has free faster shipping, and you can actually return it if you end up not liking it. If your budget is actually more than this PC cost and you need a little bit more performance, then I'd go with the Lenovo Legion Tower 5i that I just recently reviewed. This specific one with the 5060 Ti. You're getting a much better GPU in this PC for actually less than the PC that we reviewed today costs. If you can squeeze closer to $2,000, then I recommend the Skytech King 95 with a 7800X3D and 9070XT. Or you could get this Apex RTS 9070XT with a much slower CPU and slower RAM for $900 more after shipping if you hate money. But if you are interested in that Skytech King 95, here are the exact FPS that you can expect with the highest graphic presets with no DLSS at every resolution. If you can afford closer to $3,000, then I highly recommend this Andromeda Insights that I very recently had here in the studio. This one with the 5080 GPU. Or you could get this Apex PC with a much worse CPU and slower RAM for almost $1,400 more after shipping. If you like to watch money burn. Don't worry though, it used to be $5,000, so it's a steal. But if you are interested in that Andromeda Insights, here are the exact FPS that you can expect with the highest graphic presets with no DLSS at every resolution. But if you want the highest tier of performance that's also a good deal, then I would go with the Skytech Gaming O11V that I recently reviewed with the 5090 GPU. I loved this PC, and you can see here that its performance at every resolution resolution was absolutely insane. But even aside from performance, its upgradability and overall design was one of my favorites that I reviewed yet. Buying with those links below costs you nothing extra, but it directly affects this channel. Also, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe with notifications turned on to stay up to date with all of my latest tech and gaming PCs. PC gaming is awesome, but trust me, please do not let it consume your life. What helps me mentally is getting outside, staying active, eating healthy, and spending more time with my family. Also, studies have shown that reading the Bible at least 4 times a week can massively improve your mental health, and I can attest to that. And if you are a little skeptical about the Bible, then check out the book or documentary, The Case for Christ.